It has been far too long since we've had a new Media Row podcast episode, but here we are again. Apologize for these summer weird weeks, but we only have two more weird short weeks left planned, and then it's back to normal. But I appreciate all you guys understanding. I appreciate all you guys liking, subscribing, commenting, all that great stuff. The reviews have been great. The numbers have been great. So I really appreciate it. And welcome back to a brand new episode of the Media Row podcast with me, Justin Miller. Of course, sponsored by Kelly's Little Nipper and Stevens Automotive and Sales. Like I said, only two more weird weeks where we have shorter episodes, only 2 episodes. It's coming up here soon. I got one last camping trip, then a wedding coming up. And then after that, it's back to normal of the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday episodes. But this week, despite it being a short week, we have a lot of fun planned ahead of us. So to start off today's show, we're bringing back a good friend of mine, a mentor of mine, and someone that I've looked up to for a long time, Alex Cohen. You know him, of course, if you lived here in Iowa. He was the play-by-play voice for the Iowa Cubs, now with Marquee and calling games with the Chicago Cubs. So we're having him on today to discuss everything from what's ahead for the Cubs now, as they're one of the top teams in baseball, with about half of the season left, a little less than half of the season left. And then we'll just talk about baseball as a whole, the trade deadline, all that good stuff. On Friday's show, we're getting out of the sports realm a little bit, and we're going to have Sam Summers. You know him. He's the head and the mastermind behind Hinterland, which I'm a big music freak. If you guys remember when I was on The Morning Rush as the producer, one thing I took pride in was playing bangers in the morning. So I love music. I have a huge vinyl collection. Went to Hinterland last year, loved it, but there's a lot of changes coming up in that festival that I wanted to talk about and shed light on. So Sam Summers coming on the show as well on Friday. So a lot of fun action planned. But before we get to today's show, need to give a shout out, of course, to Kelly's Little Nipper at 1701 East Grand Avenue in Des Moines. The historic Kelly's Little Nipper is a perfect place because it has great food, great drinks, and even better community. They're a proud sponsor of the show. They were the first people I wanted to go and get involved with this podcast because of all the great work they do and all the great people they are, and also just how much fun they have. Like that, I think that's one of the biggest things is you go in there and you just see how much Jeff and the entire crew there love being there and love being involved with everyone that walks through that door. So can't wait for you guys to go experience it. Wednesday nights you have trivia night. Over the weekends you have live music. It's a great venue. It's a great place. Go over there and go check it out. I know I keep getting listeners and people sending me tweets of them going and trying it for the first time, or maybe the 100th time because they loved it for the first time. So go experience it yourself at the historic Kelly's Little Nipper, 1701 East Grand Avenue in Des Moines. And when you do, make sure to let them know that Media Row sent you. Thank you so much for doing this for me. I always appreciate when you're able to make time for me. I know baseball season is crazy for you right now, but seriously, it means the world that you're able to do this.
No, I appreciate you having me on. It's always fun to talk baseball in general, but always to talk baseball with you and talk some Cubs baseball. So it should be fun.
So, I mean, you were doing 20 games, right, for Marquee? How many of those left do you
Yeah, I
have?
mean it was a tentative number. I think I'm on pace for just under 40. So
Oh,
just being
nice.
here and being available. I mean, the best ability is availability. So I think I'm on pace for like 35 to 40, and it's been a great year so far.
How many left, like, planned do you have? Like, is
Yeah, so
there
I'm doing two of the Crosstown Classic games this weekend. So I'm doing
nice?
White Sox on Saturday and Sunday. I have one next week against the Orioles. I have a series in Anaheim in August, and a couple others are tentative at this point. So I think I'm expected to do 8 more, but it could be anywhere between 6 and 10.
So your busy time, of course, is the summer with baseball season, But do you kind of like that? Because off season, I mean, you get to watch every football game.
Yeah.
I mean, is
Yeah.
that kind of nice?
I mean, it really depends on the day. I mean, sometimes, yeah, I'm very happy just like watching baseball from a 30,000 foot lens or walking my dog or hanging out with my wife and seeing my family. But there are some days that I miss the grind of the Iowa Cubs and being on the bus rides and being in the clubhouse and having 150 games in 162 days. So it's definitely, it depends on the day, really depends on the hour.
And then, I mean, that traveling grind, I had a question down that I always think is a good like icebreaker
Sure.
question.
Yeah.
But when you're traveling with a team, is there
Mhm.
like a comfort movie that you is a go-to for you, like for a little
Yeah.
road trip?
Yeah, there definitely is. There's a comfort show. It's called Red Oaks on Amazon Prime, and it's
Okay.
based on like a country club in New Jersey in the 1980s. So I watch that pretty routinely. And then movie is Everybody Wants Some, because it's a mix between like Dazed and Confused and a baseball movie, and I love, Richard Linklater. So yeah, it would be either Dazed and Confused or Everybody Wants Some for the movie, and then Red Oaks for television.
I love Dazed and Confused. That
One of my
that's up
favorite
there
movies of
with
all
one of
time.
my comfort movies too.
And it's just
Love
like
it.
so laid back and chill, like you can close your eyes and imagine yourself in like 1977. So it's fun.
Yeah, yeah. And then I mean McConaughey's character is so good, but even like Ben Affleck is in it and he's so good in it. There's so
Yeah.
many
Oh, it's an
like
incredible cast for sure.
yes, I love that movie. But no, I think that's always a fun icebreaker. I mean, you've been on the road a lot, but now you are with Marquis, so
Mhm.
you get to kind of is the traveling a little different? Do you feel like, the Bull Durham when he's talking about being in the show, does the travel change a little? Is it a little
A
nicer?
little, yeah, it changes a lot. You can completely understand why players who go between AAA and the big leagues are upset when they go back down to AAA. I mean, I think there's a bigger difference between the big leagues and AAA than it is between rookie ball and AAA. I mean, it's charter flights and five-star hotels and everything taken care of for you, and 45,000 person cathedrals. So, yeah, it's completely different,
And the Cubs, they just got done playing against the Red Sox, and you bring up cathedrals. I was seeing on
right?
Twitter a lot of people, having debates. What's the more historic, better stadium, Wrigley or Fenway? I haven't seen a game at Fenway. I did a little like where you can do the tour
Yeah.
when I went and covered Iowa State with the Sweet 16 in Boston last year, and that was awesome. Want to see a game there. But man, I know we're biased. You can't beat Wrigley in July.
No, no, you can't. I mean, you can't beat Wrigley in April. I mean, if it's a nice day, Wrigley Field, like Friday, 120 Wrigley Field, like there's no better atmosphere regular season in baseball. Like I would put that up against anything. So, I've never seen a game at Fenway. I've been there on a tour. I imagine it's great. I can't imagine it being better than Wrigley. So.
And then, so the games that you have been able to cover in the stadiums you have seen, what is there any that maybe come close to rivaling Wrigley, or some that you just they do hold a special place?
Yeah, I mean, like atmosphere wise, no, like not even close. But in terms of like stadium spectacles and structure and skylines, I mean, Pittsburgh's awesome. I mean, it feels like you're
Yeah.
broadcasting a painting. But when you have, 12,000, 15,000 fans, it's different than 35, 40,000 fans at Wrigley Field. Um, yeah, I mean, I really like Pittsburgh. I thought that was a cool ballpark. I really like the atmosphere at American Family Field in Milwaukee, just because it's, Cubs Brewers, and it's a real rivalry. I mean, people
Yeah.
care. Wrigley North is a real thing. So, that was a fun series in May.
It'll always be Miller Field to me. It'll
Miller
always
Park.
be
Yeah, Miller
Miller
Park.
Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did love it though. I've been to two games there in Milwaukee and did love that atmosphere,
Yeah,
but it
no,
doesn't
it's
beat.
nice, and it's a real rivalry, and they don't like each other, and it's fun.
Yeah. And I mean, right now, the Brewers are the best team in baseball, but the Cubs are right there behind them. I do want to get to the Cubs of just,
Sure.
man, I, I think a lot of people, their hopes were get to the playoffs and win a playoff series, but right now, those hopes, the ceiling just continues to grow for this team.
Yeah.
What is just going right for the Cubs right now?
I mean, I think Kyle Tucker in the middle of that order makes everybody better. I think Kyle Tucker makes Seiya Suzuki better, makes Michael Bush better, makes Pete Crow Armstrong better. So when you have a top five, top 10 full hitter in baseball in the middle of your lineup or hitting second in your lineup, it makes everybody better. So they're one of the top offenses in baseball. They've been pretty consistent at that. They haven't had the 4 to 6 week slump like they had in 2023 or 2024. So I just think offensively, they're a juggernaut. They're legit. They're the real deal.
So, and we had you on the show in April to just
Mhm.
kind of preview the season. And the biggest issue that I think all fans, all writers, broadcasters that they had with this team was just the bullpen pitching. What's been going right on that side of things? And if there are issues, what are the Cubs doing to kind of combat those issues?
Yeah, I mean, what's going right is, Matthew Boyd turned into an all-star, and Shota Imanaga's been Shota Imanaga. Shota Imanaga is a sub-3 ERA since joining the team, and Matthew Boyd's been one of the five best pitchers in baseball. So that certainly helps. Bullpen wise, credit the Cubs player development department, scouting department. Getting Brad Keller on a non-roster invite. Now he's a high leverage reliever. Trading for Drew Pomerantz when he was with AAA Tacoma in April. Now he's a high leverage reliever. Having patience and working with Daniel Palencia, starting in the season in AAA, bringing him back up, saying, "Hey, just throw 102, you'll be fine." He's thrown 102, and now he's your closer. So. I think it's just, having the right temperament and having the right plan with those three relievers has certainly helped. Starting pitching depth and injuries has certainly been a factor in this. You haven't seen Javier Assad, you haven't seen Justin Steele since April. Showed missed 7 weeks, and Jamison Tyone's out right now. So the starting pitching has never been fully healthy this year. And I think that, getting that fortified, solidified with depth and possible reinforcements at the trade deadline is paramount.
You bring up all those young guys that the Cubs are able to trade for or bring up. You were with the Iowa Cubs, but now with you being so close in the Chicago Cubs organization, what are you seeing that makes them so special at being able to review and grab guys like the players they're able to in the AAA, which makes Chicago and the Iowa Cubs such a special place in all of baseball?
Yeah, there's a huge psychology when it comes to it. I talked to Kate Horton a little bit yesterday. He said, coming up through the Cubs organization, you had an idea what to expect, but you don't really know until you step on the diamond between the lines at Wrigley Field. And there's a visceral reaction to that. And I think that the players certainly they feed off that. They hear from their coaches how to react, what to do against big league hitters, whether it's in Cincinnati, St. Louis, Milwaukee, but then doing it at Wrigley Field's a little bit different with the elements and the history. So I think it's just all inclusive. There's a mentality, there's a temperament, there's a psychology to being a Chicago Cubs player, and I think the coaches and I think the player development staff and I think the front office does a really nice job of preparing the players for that.
We talked about the team ceiling growing and the players being able to really help with that. But yeah, you bring up the managers, the coaches. What have you seen from year one to now? Just the step forward from
Sure.
this whole coaching staff.
Just comfort. Just comfort. And I think Craig says it like, going from year one, you don't really know what to expect. Like you've seen it from 100 miles away in Milwaukee, but to come in and face the media, and have a completely new ownership group and a completely new front office, and it takes a while to sync up with them. And I think Craig did a really nice job last year, but the difference between year one and year two, he said just coming into camp, it was just different. It was comfortable. So I think you can sense that comfort with him and in that locker room and with that team.
And then they start bringing in all stars and having Suzuki leading in RBIs in the entire league, and then a guy like PCA exploding on the scene as well. Do we know the injury status for PCA by chance?
Yeah, they just said it was a bruised knee when it was a slide into third, and I can't imagine he's going to miss a lot of time. But when you get to this point of the year with a player who's played essentially every game, fine with missing a game or two or even three. What they have an off day on Thursday, so yeah, if you sit him for the series, I get it, but you want him healthy in August and September and hopefully October. So I don't see it being a long-term injury.
And then with the trade deadline about a week away, this Cubs team, they're buying, right? There's really no sense
Oh,
of
they're
this
definitely
team
buying. Yeah, no,
trying
there's
to
no
get rid
there's
of
no
everyone.
doubt about that. There were years past in 23 and 24 where they were kind of stuck in that purgatory. Do
Mhm.
you add a guy? Do you subtract a guy? But they are 100% buying. They're a top three team in baseball right now, one of the best teams in the National League. And yeah, yes, it says second place in the National League Central, but they're a playoff team, and I think that they'll be looking for starting pitching, some relief depth, and probably a right-handed hitter off the bench.
What are some names that are being tossed around over by you guys of just, guys that the Cubs would want to go and try to buy for?
It's a fluid list because you don't know who's buying and who's selling right now. Just because you have that extra wild card spot. A week ago we would say the Arizona Diamondbacks and Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen and Eugenio Suarez, and they just swept the Cardinals. They're 500 right now. They're 5 games out of a playoff spot. They're currently playing the Astros. So if they get swept against the Astros, yeah, those are three names that I would consider. If they beat the Astros and they beat the Pirates and they're 2 games out, maybe they're not selling. So. I think you got to ask me that question in a week. When it comes to starting pitchers, I mean, I've heard anything from possible interest in Luis Severino to Merrill Kelly, just like a right-handed pitcher who can log innings. Relievers and other reports on Kyle Finnegan that they've been rumored to for the last couple years with the Nationals. Nationals seem like a good trade partner with Kyle Finnegan, with Ahmed Rosario as a utility player, right-handed hitter, mashes against lefties, and then Mike Soroka, who's had a really nice year with them being a right-handed pitcher. So looks like the Nationals match up. I think this opponent right now, the Kansas City Royals, have some guys who could really help. I think Jonathan India could really help this team. Couple starters, Seth Lugo pitching on Wednesday. Chris Bubich has been really good for them. Carlos Estevez was an all-star reliever, so I think that they match up from a fit standpoint as well. So I think it really just depends on who's selling when they decide that they want to sell. And it's a better question to ask me in a week, possibly 10 days.
And then with Chicago being one of the best teams in all baseball, we mentioned the Brewers right now being the best team in baseball. That, of course, can change on a daily basis. But what have you seen just from an outsider's perspective that Milwaukee is doing
They
right
don't
now?
care. They don't get rattled. I mean, it's you hit me in, you stab me in the stomach, I'll shoot you in the mouth. Like it's one of those like you fight fire with fire. They don't care and they have an edge, and it's led by their manager, and it's just like a bunch of like pieces of a puzzle. That's the narrative they try to play. They have good players like Christian Yelich, former MVP, like Jackson Chourio is like a former number one prospect in baseball. So it's not like the Moneyball Oakland Athletics that like they're trying to put on. Like they got a lot of talent. They signed Reese Hoskins in free agency. They have an all-star William Contreras. Like they have dudes. I think their pitching's been really good. Freddie Peralta's been great. Getting Brandon Woodruff back, he's been healthy, looking good. And then the Miz throwing 102. So when you have three starters like that, it makes the team a lot better.
Is there a team in the National League that you've been able to cover that has surprised you this season now since we're a little over the halfway point?
Yeah, I think it was like before the All-Star break, I would have said the Cardinals. I don't think anybody would have expected them to be in a playoff race, and I think their older pitchers threw well and better than anybody really expected. I think Nolan Arenado's played well. I think Mason Wynn's been a really good player. I think Brendan Donovan's had a nice season. So I normally would have said the Cardinals. I've been really impressed with how resilient the Diamondbacks have been. Like if you think about their injuries, like you lose AJ Puck, you lose
Yeah.
Justin Martinez, you lose Corbin Burns, Corbin Carroll's been hurt, Zach Gallen hasn't been himself, and they're right around 500. So I think that if you would have said, hey, like three of your starting pitchers either wouldn't have been good or would have been hurt, and your two best relievers are out for the year, like the Diamondbacks would definitely be sellers and probably in last place, and they're not, or maybe not in last place next to the Rockies, but out of contention. And they're not. I think that they've been pretty impressive.
And then anyone from the American League that has surprised you?
Anybody from the American League? I mean, I thought Detroit would be good. I didn't think they'd be this good. Like I knew they'd be able to pitch, but they seem to really play complementary baseball. I mean, Javier Baez being an all-star center fielder, didn't really expect that. Didn't
Yeah, is
expect
that the
Zach Mc.
best story of the
Yeah, it's
season?
crazy. It's crazy. And I didn't expect Zach McKinstry to be an all-star shortstop either. Riley Green's a really good player. Spencer Torkelson's a number one overall pick, so obviously has a high pedigree, but I thought they'd be good. I didn't think they'd be this good. I'm pretty impressed with the way the Houston Astros are built because you lose so much talent. You don't have Yordan Alvarez. You get rid of Alex Bregman, and yet you're still in first place and you're just a well-oiled machine. You get Hunter Brown to be an all-star caliber starter, and Framber Valdez has been really good, and their bullpen has been among the best in baseball. Like Brian Abreu's disgusting. So, I've been impressed the way that the Astros, despite losing talent due to injuries and free agency, they've kind of just kept calm and chived on.
The Dodgers too were getting banged up with some injuries this
But they've
season
always
as
been
well.
banged up. I mean, if you look at their injury list, I mean, they make the most transactions out of anybody in baseball. They've done it the last 10 years, and they have 15 guys on the IL. I think that they've underachieved a little bit because you've had Mookie pretty healthy the entire season, and he's struggled. I'm not gonna say Shohei Ohtani's had a quiet season, but the fact that he's coming back and pitching like an inning or two, like definitely throws a wrench into his offensive viability. So I think they're still trying to figure things out. I think the Dodgers will ultimately be there, but if you looked at the beginning of the season, they had what, like a 99% chance of like going to the playoffs, and
Yeah.
right now they are in the playoffs, but it's not a done deal. So it's interesting.
And with Shohei Ohtani, was this the year they were supposed to bring him back for pitching?
They
Or
were, yeah. I mean,
okay,
this was
okay,
always the plan. I think it's incredibly impressive what he's doing,
yeah,
being able to hit and come in and throw, 99 to 101. But you just have to be careful with that because he's so valuable from an offensive
yeah.
perspective. You don't want to take away from that. I mean, he's a lineup changer, and is it worth it for him throwing an inning or two? I mean, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. So,
Well, and then last night, of course, we're pre-recording this on Tuesday morning, but last night you had him give up a home run, but then wins
mhm.
the game by hitting a home run. So that's kind of been the season for Shohei. But I am in agreement with you. It has been a little quiet on that front of Shohei. You're not seeing him in the ESPN top 10 plays every
And
day.
yet he's
And
got 30 homers. He's
yeah.
on pace for 45. I mean, he's still a cyborg. I mean, he's an incredible talent. But yeah, I mean, the Aaron Judge season is definitely taking the highlights and all the headlines instead, and what PCA is doing. I mean, he's got a higher WAR than him. So yeah, it's a little bit quiet by his standards.
So my Cubs colors showed quite a bit during the All-Star break because I mean everyone was giving PCA praise, which they should. I mean that guy is an athletic machine.
Yeah.
But Suzuki is right there and I mean led the NL in RBIs and is one of the more consistent batters on the Cubs and in the National League and
Yeah.
didn't get invited to the All-Star game. I mean, I know you're a marquee guy, but did that kind of rub you wrong too? Does it feel like Suzuki's season is kind of getting overshadowed?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's really tough to break in as a DH in the National League when you have
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani and when you have Kyle Schwarber. So it's more just a product of the league. I mean, I think there should have been a spot for him. I think Corbin Carroll's a really, really good player. I think that Seiya should have been an all-star over Corbin Carroll, who missed a month for a team that at that point was under 500. So, yeah, I think Seiya should have been an all-star.
And then it sucked because here I am on the show, like, oh, Suzuki's getting snubbed, blah, blah, blah. And then Schwarber, of course, becomes the star of the All-Star game, hitting the
Right.
three home runs.
It was incredible.
Well, and then you being a Philadelphia guy, I mean, the Phillies too. Talk about kind of a weird season, but man, they're still in the hunt. They're still there. This is a team. What's their ceiling like?
Yeah, I mean, I think it all lies on the bat of Bryce Harper. If he's healthy, that's what makes the engine go because they have enough starting pitching. Zach Wheeler's great, Christopher Sanchez really good. Ranger Suarez is good, and Aaron Nola pitched well against the Phillies. So you have those four starters in your back pocket. They, like every other team in the National League, needs to go get bullpen. But I think if Bryce is Bryce, they're a real threat. If he struggles, they're not.
So they have good starting pitching. Is there anything that the Cubs would be able to go and grab, or is it kind of they would have to
Well,
give
not
up
from the
too
not from the
much?
Phillies because they're not trading away good starting pitching when they're contending, but. Yeah, I mean, I think that the Cubs would be looking at teams like the Marlins and the A's, and if Cleveland sells, if the Twins sell, like it really, as I said, like it's the next 7 to 10 days are really, really important. Like, what does Texas do? Because they
Yeah,
have really good young starting pitchers in Jack Leiter and Kumar Rocker, but they're getting John Gray back, and Jacob deGrom's been really good. Tyler Mahley's been really good. Patrick Corbin's good. Nathan Eovaldi's back. So that's seven starters right there. You can only have five or six at the most. So they definitely have an influx of starting pitching. But if they're buying or if they're not selling, like they might not deal those away. So the next 7 to 10 days is really important.
Is this some of your favorite time of the year in all of sports? Is the MLB trade deadline? Because it always feels like
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
just so
I think
much
that
on the
August
line.
and September is awesome because you have Major League Baseball trade deadline, then the pennant races, you have college football, NFL,
Yep.
you have NHL training camps, NBA training camps. I mean, it's bedlam in the best way possible.
How do you feel about your Eagles? Speaking of football, we're gonna blink and it's gonna be football season, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But
I'm more confident than I should be. So I need to dial it back a notch.
did you get a Cooper DeJean jersey yet?
I didn't. And obviously, like the year that I leave Iowa, like Cooper DeJean has a charity softball tournament at Principal Park, and it's all Eagles, and I'm not there, and people are just like taking pictures, like wish you were here. I'm like, me too. So yeah, no, that's no Cooper DeJean jersey yet.
Oh, and then did you see our friend Tommy Birch getting his name in the men's
I did.
bathroom?
Yeah, it's a huge honor for him. So
Did you miss out being there for that one too, as much as the Eagles?
yeah, I mean, I don't miss Tommy, but I definitely miss the sign. So
Well, Alex, thank you again so much for doing this for me. I'm sure, I mean, if the Cubs are on this trajectory, hopefully we're talking to you in October about, man, what a playoff run is looking like for the Chicago Cubs. So
yeah,
thank you for taking time out of your busy day to do this.
no, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it, and go Cubs, go.
Thanks to Alex Cohen for hopping on the show today. Of course, now, I mean, baseball season, this is when it starts to get really exciting after that all-star break, trade deadline, and then it's playoffs. And you're going to blink, and maybe your team's in the hunt, maybe your team's out of the hunt. So it is going to be a lot of fun here to finish up the summer season. So a huge thank you to Alex Cohen. Reminder, Thursday, Sam Summers coming on the show here on the Media Row podcast to talk about Hinterland and all the great action that is ahead next week here in the state music-wise. And before we finish up today's show, can't forget to give a shout out to my guys over at Stevens Automotive and Sales at 5320 Northwest Beaver Drive in Johnston, Iowa. Great partnership over there. Have been going there ever since I was 15, finally getting a driver's license, learning how to drive, talking to them about what's a great car for a starter car. And they've just been wonderful. My family's been going to them for over 25 years. They've been locally and owned here in the state for 35 years. They're loyal people. They communicate with everyone so effectively, and they don't BS anyone that walks through their door. And that's a huge thing. You have trust when you walk in that door and talk to Jeff over at Stevens Automotive and Sales at 5320 Northwest Beaver Drive in Johnston, Iowa. 35 years of family owned and operated here in the state. And when you go, make sure to let them know that Media Row sent you. Again, only a few more weird weeks here left on the show, and then we're back to our normally scheduled program. But I appreciate all you guys. Make sure to like, comment, follow, all that good stuff. Rate. It means the world. It helps out a ton. So I appreciate all the support here. And make sure to tune in Friday as Sam Summers joins to talk about Hinterland.